Welcome back to my channel, Classic Volkswagen Lover Jr. with Classic VW Books. Today I'm going to share with you part 2, upholstery on a budget. So in my previous videos, part 1 and 2, I show you how to recover your door panels and get to here. But remember that my door panels, they originally have an opening for a pocket, and I told you in my previous video I didn't know how to do that, but my lovely wife and I figure a way to actually do that. So I'm going to share with you that information so that if you are doing upholstery in a budget, you can actually perform this job. All right, so I'm going to show you how to go from this to this. Okay, so we are now ready to go ahead and cut our vinyl fabric, but before we do that, we're going to use the door panel to take some reference measurements. And the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to measure from this opening right here, which is where the metal clip with the band fastens to. We're going to measure from this edge right there to this edge right there, and that right there measures 14 and 11/16. And then we're going to take that measurement and we're going to trace it any piece of vinyl fabric, and then you're going to cut that piece. So this piece basically is going to be from here to here. All right, as you can see, from here to here. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to use the reference of the old panel where your old pocket was at, and use that as your measurement for your back panel. Take another piece of vinyl fabric and you want to measure 20 inches from edge to edge, and this one here we're going to make it 9 inches wide because we're going to have to fold this to make a small pocket where you will be inserting a band similar to this one here. These clips right here, they fasten right there. Okay, so we have our material pre-cut now, and we did some measurement. And just to give you a recap on the measurements, this part here, which is the one that I will be using to make the front of the pocket, I have to fold it like so, and then I have to run a small thread at the very edge here to sort of like make a finish edge. And I already account for the size of my band, which is this one here. This is, I think, about 1 inch width. So this is going to be inserted in this little pocket that I'm going to be creating, and it's going to be something like that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to saw that border, and if you look here, I have pre-marked dotted lines to use it as a reference so I can have a straight pattern as I'm sewing it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. For the next step, you're going to need a machine. You have to borrow your wife's sewing machine, and make sure you don't break it. Okay, so before you begin to sew your edge, it's a good idea that you take a small piece of a remnant of the vinyl fabric and give it a trial and error on your edge. So if you can see, that's what we're going for. So we're trying to get it to be that thin. So what you want to do is you want to grab a small remnant and run yourself a test before you begin. So now that we are already set up to begin, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to begin by aligning my edges right there, and I'm going to set this foot down. Notice that I use a small piece of Scotch tape right there as my guide. And then we'll just get it started like this. And now we're going to reverse that a little bit to make sure it stays threaded. You want to go small strokes at a time. You can use some clips to aid you in keeping it together. So we got the edge right there, and then our next step is to actually saw this right here. We're gonna do that next step now. So we'll begin by aligning the dotted edge. Okay, so next we're going to put these two pieces together. This is the front side of the pocket and this is the back side of the pocket. We're going to align this edge right here with this edge right here, and we're going to saw that. And then also we're going to use a 1 inch space in between this edge here and here, and we're going to align that right there. So that's basically the part that you're going to use to staple in the back of the panel to secure your pocket. We bring these to the sewing machine. Bring the foot down right there. So next, this is the part that, believe it or not, is the one that I find to be a little bit more complicated. And you have to play with this now, because if you notice here, I have marked this in 2 centimeter increments, and I have to fold this in a manner now that establishes the pleat pattern that I want here in my pocket. So we have this side now sawed together. We're going to saw the other end, and this is how I do it. This is my way of doing it. Remember that I'm not an expert. I'm just experimenting and see how it comes out. So I'm going to saw this end here. And one thing I didn't mention before is that when you begin to saw on the other side, remember that you have an opening here for your elastic strap. So you have to begin right here at the lower treads. So this is the most difficult part, I find it, and it's basically to figure the way to get your pleats right, so you can get the right amount of pleats in here. In my case, I need to do sort of like 5 pleats so that it looks nice. Okay, so we are now at the part where I am actually making the pleats in the pocket. To be honest with you, I think that I find this to be the most difficult part of this journey. It's you pretty much have to do trial and error to see what you like and maybe match the other side of your other pocket. Basically, I saw this edge here, and then I make sure that I begin my stitch from this point down up to here, leaving this here free. And so I did here on this other end, and then it's just kind of like folding it, trial and error to see what makes it look uniform or nicer. So as you can see, this is pretty much where I'm at. And I'm using some clips to keep it in place, and then I'm going to begin to saw the bottom edge right here until I get to the end. So let's give it a try. Let's see what that looks like when I'm done. And we're going to reverse that a little bit so that we can lock that stitch in place. And here, I'm going to hold that like that. Done. So the next step is crucial. You have to get your band. You have to slide that through that pocket. I'm going to reuse the metal clips on my old strap here. I'll go ahead and take these out from here and put them here. Okay guys, so meet Lila. This is my beautiful wife's dog. She wanted to be in YouTube. So at this point, pretty much you can see that I went ahead and did the pocket, right? And all I have to do next is actually install it in the panel. Before I do that, I want to show you one last thing, is that remember that in the previous portion of the video I show you the band I'm using. So after you make your pocket, you got to slide your band in through there, and then this actually fastens into the back of the panel by these two clips here. They attach to two little holes that I'm going to show you here in a minute, and then this part here gets glued with contact cement to the back of that panel. So I'm going to show you how this goes installed here. And what I did here, I did the cutout. I still haven't glued that yet, but I will glue that pretty soon. But I went ahead and cut the hole out so you can see what that looks like without that. And let's go ahead and put this on. So this little clip here is going to clip right there, and then this portion here is going to clip right there. Now remember that you have to make sure your top portion of your pocket is lined up right there. So that's important to keep in mind when you're gluing this portion right here to the back panel. Then what you will do, you will also glue this side here, and you can also glue this side over here, and this bottom part right here also you glue that here to the back. So it's not done yet completely, but that's what it will look like once you are done. And that's it for a upholstery on a budget. This is Junior with Classic BW Bucks. Sonny the Super Beetle Full Restoration. If you enjoy the contents of this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and don't forget to click that little bell so that every time that I upload a new video, you get a notification. Until then, Junior out.